Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Nanatsu no Taizai, The Seven Deadly Sins, Chapter 220. Now, as you know, it's been coming out very early recently. Mondays is normally when it comes out. It come out on Saturdays, Sundays, I think it even came out on a Friday. Ultimately, I wasn't going to be able to do a lot of the things I was going to do and record this video, so I've left it till Sunday. So this is a big catch-up video. Seven Deadly Sins, this one, hopefully Fairy Tail catch-up video, and hopefully a My Hero Academia one, leaving Roblox Laser, as well as Dr. Stone and maybe Hungry Marie for Monday, hopefully, and then we can start getting into the rhythm of it. But anyway, Seven Deadly Sins, here we are, new chapter, the start of new things and a lot of questions. Without further ado, let's get into this. Hello. Here we are, chapter review. Quite a lot to talk about, quite a few different things and some theories I want to throw out there, but let's kind of talk about this chapter. And basically, the worst part of the chapter is poor Escano. I really want to say that straight away. He's one of my favourite Kaito and he hulks out, but he's just so mistreated, so misunderstood, and I just feel like, you know, they should treat him a lot better. And we'll get into that. So, you know, everyone's together, they're partying. Escano has a poem in his weak form, and people just ignore him, and the only one that really cares or even really does anything, even though he is kind of Hawk, is Hawk. And Hawk's like, oh, it was the best poem ever, and he's there eating scraps and he's loving it, and it's kind of like, really, yeah, like comrades in arms, you're like been together for ages, you've known each other for such a long time, you're gonna take on the 10 commandments together, you've already been doing that, and you at least show him a little bit more than let's party together and drink. I didn't like it. I think they need to show him a little bit more respect, a little bit more courtesy, in my opinion. And then he's worried about Merlin, but Merlin rocks up late. And then we have this kind of thing where they talk about like, oh, this is like old times, they're finally back together again, and all this kind of thing. Because you got to bear in mind, in these 10 years, they've all been separate, and they got together kind of ish. Bits and bats came here and there, and a lot of, I think, 5 got together, and then Merlin rocked up and Escano rocked up, and they got a chance. So it was like old times, but things have changed. Like, for example, Galfa, we have more information about him. Elaine's with them, Elizabeth is with them. So it is like old times, but things have obviously changed. The 10 Commandments are about. And then we get a series of different questions. And I like this about the chapter because this is kind of like what the reader, the audience, thinks about the events that have led up to this point. For example, the question is asked, how did Galfa, you know, end the war? So the thing is, we didn't know it was Galfa that was involved, and from these last couple of chapters, that is a question on our mind. How did he do that? And Galfa couldn't answer. What this leads me to believe, and probably a lot of yourselves is going to be led to believe, is essentially we're going to find out in a way that he doesn't need to tell us. We're going to find out by some other means. Then there's the question about, you know, how did it really end? Then we get Escano saying, oh, I don't know the details, but apparently the goddess clan sacrificed themselves to seal the demons away in the coffin and everything else. And then we get a contrasting or a contrary belief to that, and that's the coffins were made by a giant craftsman called Debuzu. So they may have just created the seal. So it's, what the questions you get from that then is, okay, so what were the conditions of the sacrifice and what are the consequences of the sacrifice? We don't know. Other than a goddess horn, we don't really know much, because like when we saw them 3,000 years ago, they had earthly bodies. Why aren't they around now? What has changed? What has caused that? So then we also have the questions with Elizabeth. So you've got to bear in mind, from Elizabeth's point of view, she doesn't know anything. So she knows there was Elizabeth before her, Liz. Now we've been told about this Elizabeth 3,000 years ago. Obviously, the theory of reincarnation, when Liz died, or Elizabeth came, and then she was given to King Barter. So there is a lot of different things that are going on here that we want answered, and essentially, I'm guessing by mentioning them all in one chapter over a couple of pages, the author is saying, look, I understand what you want to know, and you're going to find out. I like that because I don't like plot holes. I like things being answered. So I like that idea. So Merlin kind of rushes off and everyone's doing their own thing and she's about to collapse, and who catches her? Meliodas. Meliodas like, what happened? Did Zeldris do this to you and things like that? But let's get to the point of Zeldris before we get into this. So Zeldris is the attention is brought to everyone by Merlin. Merlin basically says he's still around, we need to defeat him. This is important because she says he's the last one or something like that, or some kind of extent mentioned. Saying he's going to be the one that he's the strongest. So this leads me to believe that this could hint that the rest are basically defeated for the time being, or there could be a big surprise at the end. The reason what makes me think this is because he was there when Estarossa was getting his behind being up by Escanor. But the difference between Estarossa and Zeldris is Zeldris has been confirmed to still be using the power of the Demon King, which would make him a lot stronger than Zeldris, which also explains how he effortlessly beat Meliodas' ass and chopped his hand off. So, that being said, going back to Zeldris now. So Zeldris has effectively taken over Camelot and has big control of the region or anything really outside of Leona's kingdom. So it's important that they deal with them, and it's also important to find Arthur, which we find out later on in this chapter. That being said, the way Meliodas deals with it is to deal with Zeldris later, which to be fair is a fair way to look at it, but also leads to the idea that they're going to do that and something's going to change that specific plan, like it's going to get interrupted and there's going to be a big hoo-ha. So move back forward to Meliodas catching Merlin. He's known her the longest. He knew she was faking it, and he knew, Zeldris did this to her. Also, poor Escanor is hearing all this, and she tells him, "Look, we need to save Merlin. She can't let him die. He is her hope." And my heart sunk a little bit for Escanor. And you think, okay, Merlin is Merlin, and she likes Arthur, or she'll have her reasonings behind it, but Escanor really loves her. And he goes way and beyond, and his dignity is hurt, his pride is a little hurt, which leads me to believe that the next time someone fights Escanor is going to rampage, and I'm so looking forward to that. That being said, there's so many different things that are going to happen, there's so many questions that need answered in this next arc. We're going to have to wait and see. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.